Seattle is one of the most misunderstood cities in America, and moving here without knowing the truth could cost you thousands or leave you regretting your decision entirely. Everyone talks about the rain, but no one warns you about the housing costs that sneak up fast, the quirky neighborhood vibes that aren't for everyone, or what it really feels like to live here when the sun disappears for weeks. But here's the twist. Despite all of that, people still keep moving here in record numbers. Why? There's one surprising reason that makes it all worth it, and you won't believe what it is. Let's get real. Seattle is not a budget-friendly destination. But for many, the opportunities, the lifestyle, the long-term growth here more than justify the investment. Let's start with housing. According to Redfin, as of 2025, the median home price in Seattle is around $857,000. That might trigger some sticker shock, especially for buyers coming from a smaller market. But content matters. Seattle market has held strong thanks to job stability, demand, and limited inventory. You're not just buying a house here, you're buying an investment in a region with consistent economic momentum. Now, for renters, the story isn't dramatically different. Apartments.com reports that a one-bedroom apartment in the city averages about $2,095 a month. That number jumps if you're looking for a newer building, central location, or top-tier amenities. But there's range. South Seattle, West Seattle, and neighborhoods like Beacon Hill more than offer attainable options than, say, Queen Anne or Capitol Hill. Daily living expenses are something else to factor in. The MIT Living Wage Calculator shows that a single-family adult in King County needs to earn at least $30.82 an hour just to cover basic needs. Groceries, healthcare, transportation, they're all above national average. And don't forget about the hidden costs like parking, the tolls, and yes, that $7 oak latte, that habit that can add up. But here's where Seattle flips the script. Washington has no state tax, which is a game changer, especially for high earners and remote workers relocating from places like California or New York. More of your paycheck stays with you, and that adds up quickly over time. Another advantage, despite the high housing costs, Seattle continues to be a place where real estate appreciates steadily. Clients that I have helped buy just 3 or 5 years ago already built substantial amount of equity. Even in shifting markets, the long-term trajectory here leans upward. Let's talk about value, not just cost. Your money goes towards clean neighborhoods, incredible public parks, proximity to water, mountains, and one of the most educated, innovative workforces in the country. It's not cheap, but it's also not money wasted. You're buying into a lifestyle, not just a mortgage. Affordability in Seattle isn't about finding a steal. It's about making smart, strategic choices, knowing where to buy, when to buy, and how to stretch your budget while you're planting roots in one of the most dynamic cities on the West Coast. And that's where it really starts to matter, because not every neighborhood feels the same, costs the same, or lives the same. Let me show you how different parts of Seattle offer totally different lifestyles and how to find the one that fits you best. If we haven't met yet, I'm Sheila Duncan, a licensed real estate agent broker in Washington and Georgia. I work with everyone from luxury home buyers or sellers, first-time buyers to military families, out-of-state relocators who are trying to make sense of Seattle's wild real estate landscape. I've made this move myself, and now I help others do it with confidence without overwhelming or the guesswork. So if you're thinking about making the move, making Seattle your home, or even just exploring the idea, feel free to call, text, or email me anytime. All of my information is there on the screen and pinned down below in the description. All right, now that we've covered what it costs to live here, let's dive into one of the biggest decision makers, the neighborhoods. Seattle gets a lot of the spotlight, but the surrounding communities are where many people actually end up putting down roots, especially those wanting a bit more space, affordability, and specifically a specific lifestyle fit. Start with Bellevue, just across Lake Washington. This city has grown into one of the most desirable, priciest areas in the region. It's home to booming tech scene, luxury shopping, top-tier schools, and ultra-polished feel. Ideal for professional in tech, executives, or families who want a newer, quieter alternative to Seattle without losing the upscale urban convenience. Then there's Tacoma, a city that's evolved dramatically over the past decade. It offers historic charm, revitalized downtown, and housing that feels far more obtainable than Seattle. Tacoma blends urban grit with creative energy and has become a magnet for artists, remote workers, and first-time home buyers priced out of King County. It's also a great option for those that are stationed and commuting to the military base JBLM or Joint Base Lewis McChord. Puyallup checks all of the boxes. Located about 35 miles south of Seattle, it offers excellent public schools, friendly suburban energy, and larger lots. People love the weekend farmers market, the fairgrounds, and how the pace slows just enough without feeling disconnected. Other highly rated areas to explore include Issaquah, great for families and nature lovers with easy access to the Cascades. Kirkland offers a beautiful blend of lakeside charm, tech sector accessibility, while Maple Valley is known for its affordability and a small town growth with solid schools. Choosing the right location isn't just about commute times or property value. It's about lifestyle. Some clients want walkability and nightlife. Others prioritize quiet streets and top schools. Some want a mix of both. The key is understanding how each of these communities lives, not just how they look on a map. Each of these cities and suburbs tells a different story, and finding the right one means digging deeper than the headlines. That's why I spend time in these neighborhoods, know how they evolve, and help my clients find the right fit, not just for today, but for where they want to be in, say, 3, 5, or even 10 years down the road. Of course, the community is just one part of the equation. Once you've landed in the right spot, the real question becomes, what is day-to-day life actually like in the Pacific Northwest? How do people spend their weekends? Where do they eat, hike, or unwind? Time to zoom in on what it feels like to live here. Life in Seattle area isn't just about where you live. It's about how you live. And that's where this region really starts to shine. From the waterfront views to world-class coffees, there's no shortage of things to do, places to explore, and ways to unplug or plug back in. For nature lovers, this area is a dream. There's hiking within 30 minutes of downtown, skiing in the winter or summer, paddleboarding in the summer, and trails that wind through nearly every neighborhood. Even the city parks feel like miniature forests. Food culture here is another major draw. Each caught salmon, Vietnamese pho, farm to table, brunch spots, cozy neighborhood bakeries are just part of the daily life. In places like Ballard, Capitol Hill, or even downtown Tacoma, food is woven into the rhythm of the day. Coffee, of course, has its own ecosystem. Sure, there's Starbucks, but locals know the real gem are the neighborhood roasters with unclaimed wood counters, latte art, playlists humming in the background. Whether you're in Bellevue, Green Lake, University Place, there's always a cafe that feels like a home base for anybody. The people here, we love our coffee. The arts and culture scene, surprisingly rich. You've got the Seattle Symphony, the Mopop, the galleries tucked inside of streets. In the South Sound, you have Tacoma's Museum District. It's a local favorite, especially for the Museum of Glass, which I absolutely love. It is a must-see. And let's not forget the live music. From jazz bars to the stadium views, Seattle musical roots run deep. Sports fans have plenty to cheer for, too. Whether it's the Seahawks at Lumen Field, the Mariners at T-Mobile Park, or catching the Sounders match that feels more like a full body experience than a game. But here's the biggest things locals love: balance. People here are genuinely work hard, but they also know how to disconnect. It's not unusual for someone to finish a Zoom meeting and hit the trails 15 minutes later, or pack up for the weekend trip to the San Juan without blinking. It's not just about being active either. There's a deeper sense of calm here. Maybe it's the mountains always in the distance, or the misty mornings that make everything feel just a little more grounded. Whether it is, there's a lifestyle rhythm that's hard to explain until you experience it. And that brings up an important point: weather. If you've heard stories about the rain, the gray, or the mood swings tied to the seasons, you're not alone. This next part will break down exactly what to expect from Seattle's climate and how the locals learn to thrive in it. Seattle weather has a reputation, depending on who you ask, is either overhyped or is totally accurate. The truth? It's a little bit of both. First, yes, it rains. Not a monsoon or thunderstorms, but more of a misty, persistent drizzle. According to the National Weather Service, Seattle averages about 150 rainy days per year. But most of those are light, passing showers. You won't need an umbrella every day, but quality rain jacket, absolutely. Winters are mild compared to the East Coast or the Midwest. Snow is rare in the city, but it does happen. And when it does, even a couple of inches can throw everything. Schools closed, commutes grind to a halt, grocery shelves suspiciously emptied. The bigger challenge for many newcomers isn't the rain, it's the lack of light. From November until February, daylight can be scarce. The sun rises late, sets early, and the skies stay gray more often than not. But the locals adapt. Happy lamps, morning routines, and vitamin D supplements are all part of the seasonal survival kit here in Washington. Then the spring rolls around and everything changes. Cherry blossom, emerald green hills, wildflowers pop up seemingly overnight. The payoff is real. Summers in the Pacific Northwest are what convince people to stay here. July through September is perfect. It's perfection. Sunshine, temperatures in the 70s, long daylight hours, no humidity. It's just the kind of weather that makes you want to be outside all the time, hiking, kayaking, grabbing brunch on the patio, or just reading in the park. Another bonus, nature here is never far. Whether you're in the middle of downtown Seattle or out in the suburbs, it only takes about 20-30 minutes to reach the forest, trails, water parks, mountain views, everything. People in this region are deeply connected to the outdoors, and it shows in everything from how they dress to how they spend their free time. So, is the weather perfect? No, but it's livable and honestly, even beautiful in its own right. Absolutely. If you can embrace the gray, the reward is a green, clean, stunningly scenic place to call home. And that access to beauty and balance is one of the reasons people build careers, raise families here, which leads into another huge factor for those considering a move: work. From remote opportunities to tech giants to government jobs, Seattle region economy has some serious depth, and it has only grown in the past few years. Seattle's job market is one of the biggest reasons people continue to relocate here, even with the cost of living. It's not just the opportunity, it's the diversity of the industry and the depth of the career path available across the region. Tech still leads charge. Amazon, headquarters in South Lake Union, remains one of the city's biggest employers. Microsoft just across the water in Redmond, and other giants like Google, Meta, Salesforce have all expanded their footprint throughout the Puget Sound. But it's not just a tech town. Healthcare is massive here, with employers like Swedish Health Services, Virginia Mason, and UW Medicine anchoring the local industry. Education, aerospace, hello, Boeing, shipping, maritime, biotech also have a strong and growing presence. According to the Washington State Employment Security Department, the unemployment rate as of Q1, quarter one of 2025, is hovering around 3.8%, a sign of a strong economic health. And remote work, it's not just accepted here, it is deeply embedded in the culture. Many people move to Seattle and its suburbs not just because their job demands it, but because they live here while working companies based in like New York, LA, or even internationally. The city is wired for remote professionals. Fast internet, tons of co-working options, a cafe scene that practically caters to laptop life. Bellevue, in particular, is a hotbed for corporate and remote professionals looking for an upscale, rich lifestyle. Meanwhile, communities like Tacoma, Puyallup, and Maple Valley have become smart choices for people who want lower housing costs but still need the occasional access to city-based offices or client meetings. For military families and veterans, employment options near Joint Base Lewis McChord have also expanded, especially in logistics, healthcare, and civil service. And with Washington's growing investment in green energy, infrastructure, and tech renovations, the future outlook is strong across all sectors. Another benefit, Washington is one of the few states with no income tax, meaning your paycheck goes further. This is a major draw for high income earners or anyone moving from states like California, where state taxes can eat into your earnings fast. Whether you are looking to grow your career in a traditional office setting, expand a remote business, or land in a place with real economic mobility, Seattle gives you options. And it's that flexibility that keeps professionals moving here year after year. But it's not just about where you work, also about where you live while you're working. If you're planning a long distance move or a permanent relocation, there are a few things to know up front that can make the transition a lot smoother. Moving to the Seattle area just isn't about a change in zip code. It's a full-on lifestyle shift. Whether you are located for work, family, or just craving a new adventure, preparation is key to making a smooth transition. First, timing matters. Spring and summer are the most active seasons for home shopping, but also the most competitive. If you want more leverage, consider moving during the fall or the winter months where there's less buyers traffic. Just be prepared for a little more rain or fewer daylight hours. If you're renting before buying, and a lot of my relocation clients do, aim for at least a 6-month lease. That gives you time to explore different neighborhoods in person, get the feel and commute, and understand the flow of daily life before committing to a home purchase. Speaking of commutes, don't just look at distance, look at the drive time. A home that's 12 miles from work can easily run into an hour plus commute depending on where you're coming from and when. Apps like Waze and Google Maps can give you a realistic traffic pattern, but nothing replacing driving the route during rush hour yourself. For families, school districts often play a major role. Sites like Great Schools and niche.com gives you a snapshot, but always recommend visiting the campuses if possible and talking to local parents. Communities like Bellevue and Issaquah and North Shore consistently get strong reviews. But even with Seattle's property, there are hidden gems if you know where to look. Now, for those working remotely, moving without an in-person job lineup, flexibility is your superpower. You might want to start in a centrally located short-term rental or just use that time to tour areas like West Seattle, Kirkland, or even further south in places like Puyallup, Lake Tapps. These locations can offer more space, less noise, and a surprisingly amount of convenience. And don't underestimate the logistics. Transferring utilities here can take longer than expected. Some providers, especially internet, require advanced scheduling. It's also worth checking if your new address falls into any of the special zip codes or tax districts, particularly if you're buying a home. If you're bringing pets, you'll be happy to know that Seattle is one of the most dog-friendly metro areas in the country. Many apartments, condos, or even restaurants welcome our four-legged friends. There are dedicated dog parks and in nearly every neighborhood. The bottom line, don't try to figure it all out on your own. Relocation is emotional, overwhelming, and full of blind spots. But if you've got someone who knows the market, the process, and the realities of moving here, you're not just buying a home, you're buying a whole new lifestyle. Speaking of the next step, if you're even thinking about relocating here, here's how I can help. Moving to a new city is a big deal. And if you're considering Seattle or any of the surrounding areas, you deserve to feel confident, informed, and supported throughout the entire process. I'm Sheila Duncan, a local real estate broker in both Washington and Georgia. I work with individuals, couples, families, military clients who are making the big move, whether it's across the country or across the Puget Sound. If you're relocating and want real insight, not just a Zillow screenshot or outdated blogs, my team and I are here to help you understand what it takes to move smart. From school research to neighborhood walkthroughs to off-market listings and move-in timing strategies, we handle the details so you don't have to guess your way through it. You can call, text, or email anytime. All of my contact information is linked in the description. I'm happy to help you figure out your next step, even if you're months away from making a move. And if you're just getting started, be sure to check out other videos on this channel, from in-depth community tours to housing breakdowns, lifestyle features. They're all packed with local insight to help you picture your future here with clarity and confidence.